relationship drama. You hate to be in it, but we love to hear about it. So let me give you a rundown of what happened. About a month ago, I went on a long, tiresome search. I was looking for the world's most scrumptious assortment of tea. And after a long journey, I've bought it all here just for you. And when I say that, I mean I basically post on my YouTube community section and Instagram story. Basically, I asked you guys to tell me your most unhinged relationship drama, whether it involved you or anyone else in your life. I want to give you guys a chance to spill the tea that you've been holding inside yourselves the whole time. And oh my god, we are in for an experience, you guys. Before I even start, I was actually about to share some juicy stories about a situationship I used to be in, and then they dropped this new law. So yeah guys, me personally, I don't know about you, but I kinda don't feel like paying $100,000. So RIP to that one section in the video. I had it all animated too, so I guess it's never gonna see the light of day. But we still have all of your guys' stories. So guys, I want you to get comfy, get a cozy little blanket, get some fuzzy socks on, and make yourself a fun little drink, cause I'm gonna spill some tea for you. So for this story, we got an entire cast. We got Angie, who's a girlfriend, Sean, who's a boyfriend, and we got Britt, Trish, and Paul, who are friend A, B, and C respectively. This is a story from last year's summer, when there was some wild drama going on with Angie and Sean. And I heard about this story when I was playing Minecraft with my friends one night. So I was playing Minecraft with my friends Britt and Trish this one night in our Discord server. After playing for like 30 minutes, Paul joined the voice channel. And just before I could ask him if he wanted to join, he told us to not go to the other voice channel because he was going to defuse the situation between Angie and Sean because they were in a fight with each other. Trish was confused, and just when I was about to ask what happened, Paul left the voice channel. Then Britt told us that she knew what happened and decided to tell us the drama they were in so far at the time. Britt told us that Sean and Angie had been in a long distance relationship since 2023 because Sean had to move to Canada for at least 4 years, so he had to leave Angie in her city. Angie wanted to see him, so she begged her stupidly rich parent for a study tour in midsummer. So now she didn't have to pay a cent to go there, and she could stay in her boyfriend's house for the entire study tour, which started on July 4th. Sean was living with his parents, so Angie had to ask his parents for permission to stay there, and his parents agreed. But during mid-June, Sean's grandma passed away, and since Sean, his family, and his relatives were in anywhere but the city he used to live in, they had to host the funeral on July 8th. And this clashes with Angie's stay in Canada. Sean's family did not trust Angie enough to let her stay in their home alone. So his family told Sean and Angie that she can't stay there and she has to find a hotel after July 8th. Angie had very protective parents that FaceTime her every night when she went on a trip. So she tried to convince Sean's family to let her stay there for a few more days. However, Sean's family still refused. And since Angie didn't know what to do, she felt lost and angry and decided to lash out on Sean. She yelled at his parents that they're a bunch of cheap people that can't afford to let a girl stay there and use the electricity and water. She then yelled at Sean for not backing her up when she was convincing his parents. Sean tried to calm her down by offering to pay for her hotel room. She denied and said, and I quote, "Your grandma's been frozen for a month. Can't you guys let her stay that way for another week?" Bro, this is on the top 10 things you should not be saying to anyone whose family just died. That is crazy. Hearing Britt say this, Trish and I were flabbergasted because Angie to me was very sweet, caring and understanding ever since I knew her. But Britt said yet another explosive statement that had me going Pikachu shocked face. After Angie told Britt and Paul what happened during the rant, Britt told her to try and understand his feelings. Angie literally said, "Oh, I'm so sorry. I can't relate because I never had a family member that died." My mouth had never been open so wide in my entire life because that was an absolutely crazy statement. I was so shocked that I can't believe what I just heard. I vaguely remember what happened afterwards. I think Sean ranted to us that night a bit, saying how he is tired of her. But after that, Angie still went to Canada. She eventually found a hotel room on her own after staying in Sean's house for most of her time. So you're telling me all that drama was for nothing? Like she did all the yelling at him and his parents for nothing? After that drama, since Sean had to come back to his hometown where most of us live, we got to hang out with a few other friends all together. Although that night, Sean and Angie got into yet another argument because Sean lost her Chihuahua plushie that he gave her. But at the moment I'm typing this out, Angie and Sean somehow are still dating and they are still in our friend group. Guys, this woman was ready to do anything except let that poor granny's soul go to heaven. And also I am giving this author my thoughts and prayers because what do you mean she is still in your guys' friend group? Because you never know when you are gonna be her next victim. So yeah, let's hope this author keeps the granny far away from Angie. Also side note, can we talk about Angie's parents being stupidly rich? Cause, I mean, if they need a dog. Woof woof, you know what I'm saying? A guy I started dating went to uni, and after a month of ghosting me, he told me that we were never dating in the first place. Pretty much what it says above. We had our tongues in each other's mouths for months. He expressingly asked before leaving for uni, "Do you want to date?" To which I said yes. He goes to uni, it's hundreds of miles away and a new environment, so I don't really think much of the fact that I hadn't heard from him for a couple of weeks. Then another 2 weeks went by and I still hadn't heard from him. A friend at the time had commented about me and him on a post on Facebook and I was like, I don't know if we're labeling it, I'm just giving them space to get settled right now. I then get a DM from him immediately saying that he was sorry if he led me on and that we were never actually dating and that he's in a new relationship and she's pregnant. Bro, excuse me once again? No, I am so confused because I need the timeline for this. This man was gone for roughly a few weeks. How has he already gotten someone pregnant? This man was booked and scheduled, dude. He was busy. Cause when you think about it too, either he was cheating this entire time with the other girl or he just met this new girl and they're just both chill about getting pregnant immediately. Also, how did he think he could get away with pretending you guys weren't even a thing? Like genuinely, that is so stupid and smart at the same time. Like the fact that he thought he could get away with that excuse and he actually did. Also, I am worried for this next girl because what if she's done delivering the baby and she's waiting on him and he's like, what do you mean? I was never a father. And he just vanishes. So yeah, I'm keeping my fingers crossed for the new girl and our author. You dodged a bullet there. I met this dude on Grindr trying to lose my Wii card and neither of us could have anyone over. So he told me to meet him in a public park. And he said it was cool because he's done it plenty of times. I don't know if this can be on your YouTube though, Diva. Sorry, love your videos. Girl, what do you mean? He's done it plenty of times in a public park. Okay, now hear me out. Cause this depends. Cause if this man is suggesting to do this in broad daylight, yeah, get him in handcuffs now. Cause can you imagine someone's poor little granny walking by and she's all like, oh, what wonderful weather we're having. And then she turns her head and sees your Grindr date and then she dies of shock. And even if it is nighttime, it's a public park, dude. You're gonna get all these splinters and mosquitoes are gonna go in places they should never be going. Yeah, pack it up, buddy. So this is very unhinged, but I guess in a creepy way. I met this guy on Tinder. Let's call him Alex. So on our first date, Alex mentioned his ex a few times, which should be a red flag I didn't ignore, but I did. Yeah, I was stupid. Don't worry, bestie. We've all been there. But we were talking for like a few weeks more after that. There's this one time we were on a call for like an hour and he proceeded to tell me the role of how him and his ex met, broke up, etc. Like bruh, I knew I was a clown for listening at all, but I was young and I didn't know how to end the convo. It was super weird because Alex basically just admitted that he's still so hung up on his ex to the point of telling me everything about her. Bruh, I'm starting to wonder, is it really that hard to be normal these days? Then he admits that he has 2 people operating himself. I was like, what? I thought at first he had DID, but my suspicion grew when he can just switch into this other version of himself within like less than 5 minutes. Which I don't think people with DID can command their alter to switch that quick. I don't know. It was just super weird. And this other version of himself kept guilt-tripping me to understand Alex. Remember that he's broken, how he needs to heal after breaking up with his ex, etc. It was a bunch of bullshit, and that was my final straw. I didn't block right away and just said that I needed time to be alone to process what happened. And I was planning to say I think we won't work out the next day once I was more emotionally collected. But no, this guy called me multiple times. Well, that was an understatement because he called me more than 50 times to the point that I had to turn off my phones after blocking him everywhere. He even found my private Insta account that I never shared, and my main account doesn't even follow it. I don't even know how he found that, and God, that traumatized me. Anyways, he is very unhinged, and since we studied the same university, for the next month after what happened, I just kept looking back while walking to class because I was scared he'd appear out of nowhere. But thank God, he's never approached me. Okay guys, before I even comment on this story, I'll just say right here, right now, I'm not exactly well acquainted with this mental illness, and I'm also not a mental health expert, so I can't really comment too much on the DID aspect, but if you guys feel like you know more about that, feel free to let us know. Even if you're not considering the personality thing, this guy is completely unhinged. How do you fumble the bag this bad? Cause what do you mean he is spamming you with 50 calls? What? Someone needs to drag him back home by the ankles. He cannot be dating in this condition. So yeah, it's just kinda cringe. This man had a whole checklist of things he should not be doing, and he made sure to tick all of them. I'm glad you got out, dude. There was this guy who was a junior when I was a freshman in high school. I had known him for only 4 to 5 months, and he was really just a friend to my other friends. But anyway, I knew this guy, and towards the end of the school year, he said that he liked me and asked if I liked him back. I said no, and that I wasn't interested in him that way. Interested in him? Interested in him? Girl, how do you say that? And I said that I would still like to be friends with him. So a little while after that, we walked home together, and then he followed me up to my house after I told him not to and that I could walk home by myself. During this, he joked that now he could just show up at my house unprompted. Also, a week after this, he tried to gaslight and spread rumors to me about a friend that I had. Later, during the summer, I found that he followed other freshman girls home. Some were my friends. He moved his senior year to a different school in town, but a couple months ago, I found out from my sister that he showed up to my house a couple of times. By the way, I'm a lesbian with a girlfriend, and I talked to this with a friend and they said, "Aren't you gay?" And I replied with, "At the time I hadn't realized that about myself, so I dodged a bullet, y'all." Anyway, stay safe and have a wonderful night or day. Pause. We are going to rewind for a bit. What do you mean your friend asked, "Aren't you gay?" Your friend is going to be deeply shocked when they realize stalkers stalk based on their preferences, not yours. But yeah, back to the guy. Bro, back up? Like, what is this dude even doing? Is he just standing in people's lawns all night? Like, I am just so confused. What enjoyment is he getting from just standing there? So yeah, this is another guy who needs to be put in handcuffs. So yeah guys, let's just drop a few prayers in the chat for this author. My friend Rachel was dating this girl Quinn for a short time. They broke up because Rachel found out Quinn didn't actually like her and felt bad. And then she outed her. Then years later, Rachel starts dating this other girl, Tina. And she expresses her insecurities from the Quinn situation. And it's going great. Then Tina and Rachel break up. And then Tina gets with her ex. A few months later, they break up and Rachel and Tina get back together. This cycle goes on for a while. At Rachel's birthday party, some of her other friends invited Tina and Tina's current girlfriend. I'm sorry, why would you do that? Why would you invite your friend's ex and their current girlfriend? Am I the crazy one here? Rachel and Tina kiss at that party. But Rachel at the time didn't realize Tina was still dating her girlfriend. So then she finds out they were still dating. And then those two soon broke up for other reasons. And then Rachel and Tina soon get back together. And then after a few months they break up again. And then Tina gets with Quinn. And they are so PDA and coupley. And the thing is, Tina would tell Rachel that they couldn't even hold hands in public. And then there's this musical. So Rachel and Quinn play sisters, and Tina is playing Rachel's love interest. This pisses off Quinn, and Quinn and Tina are complaining the whole show, saying that Quinn should have gotten Rachel's part so that Quinn and Tina could play love interests. And then the school year ended and they broke up a month later. Bruh. Guys, be honest, is this not peak high school drama? Like, this is the type of stuff I used to hear from my high school friends, and I would eat it up each and every time. Listen, I would pay this author to tape me up on their school wall just so I could see the drama unfolding firsthand. Like, I would be rallying everyone up and I'd be putting bets on who's getting together and who's breaking up next. So yeah, these kind of stories make me miss high school, honestly. Okay, well, not completely miss it, but you know, you just can't get this level of drama anywhere else. This was in my freshman year of high school. So I'm in a drama class, and one of our assignments was to make a jukebox musical. It's like a regular musical, but with existing songs, like how Mamma Mia is done. And most of the class did their musicals based off of movies. Me and my friend did Howl's Moving Castle with lo-fi songs, and it was really fun. However, we also had the option to make an original plot. And one of the people who chose to do that was one of my best friends. We'll call him Mark. And oh boy, it was a journey. His story was based on him and his attempts to get with a girl, only for her to not like him back and fall for someone else. And all his slides are like super depressing. It's a bunch of sad music and songs that I listen to a lot, but I skimmed over that. We also had to display character costumes, and his reference board looked eerily similar to my clothes on a daily basis. But I still thought nothing of it. I even asked him afterwards in a joking manner, "Oh my god, dude, who hurt you?" Yeah, it was entirely about me. It was pretty awkward for the next week. A lot of people ended up finding out or already knew who his presentation was on and had lots of questions. Me personally, I was just kinda pissed off about the whole thing, especially since he had never talked to me about how he felt in the first place. So this really wasn't the right time to dive into all of that, especially considering it was in front of a whole classroom full of people. The tricky thing was, I actually did like him back. It was just terrible timing and poor decision making on his part. On the bright side, we made up after a while and actually did end up together a few years later. I'm extremely happy to have him, and we've both put this incident and many other awkward scenarios behind us and moved on together. This just goes to show that with proper communication, you can work your problems/feelings out with a friend or partner. Hope this is juicy enough. I don't really have a life, lmao. Yeah, don't worry, I don't have a life either. That's why I'm asking you guys for your stories. But you know what? I kinda appreciate this positive ending to the story. But you're telling me this dude did all these shenanigans about you not liking him when you liked him the entire time? Like, all this hooting and hollering for no reason. And listen, I appreciate the maturity of you guys to have moved past this incident, but me personally, this is just too funny to let go. I would be mentioning it every single day. Like, there will be daily roast sessions. I will be telling our kids, our grandkids, the neighbors, the butcher. It will be all over the newspapers, dude. Like, this is a funny story. So yeah, it's kind of cool that we finally got to see our first redemption arc. This is a snowbird approved relationship. I am proud of you guys. I was legitimately in a love square. I'll be giving some fake names, so here we go. Me, James, Edward, and Melissa were all classmates in high school. In the beginning, James and Edward are best friends, and me and Melissa are friends. I also had a minor crush on Edward. At the start of the year, Melissa told me that she had a crush on James. Before this though, my other friend, who's not pertinent, had told me that she was going out with Edward. So of course, girl code, I stopped liking Edward. Melissa and James had started texting each other, and Melissa always made advances towards him. And she said it was all going well, but I found out that was false from James himself. A few months later, Melissa confesses to James that she likes him, but he turns her down. After that, she still keeps trying to get with James, and even confesses to him again a few times, but he still doesn't reciprocate. So Melissa says she's moving on and starts having a crush on Edward. So now we're in the middle of the year, we're all pretty good friends and text each other regularly. Also, I have to mention I have a crush on James now. Stunning emoji. But anyways, I would text with both James and Edward frequently. James more than Edward. And Edward and my other friend, not pertinent, had already broken up with the reason that they wanted to wait until exams are over. Can I just pause for a second? Cause I never really got that. Like, couldn't couples just not talk during exam season? Or just have study sessions together? Like, why go through a whole breakup? It always felt a bit unnecessary to me, but if y'all get the thought process of doing that, feel free to let me know. So one day I'm texting Edward and suddenly he's confessing that he likes me, standing emoji, which, I turned down because I have a thing with James now. And that's breaking girl code and low-key cheating on his part, right? Anyways, James and I are now dating, but suddenly Melissa starts to act cold towards me, and then she gets on a social media app that she knows I don't have, and she starts shit-talking me for dating James, even though she and him have never dated, and she likes Edward now. Anyways, fast forward, me and James are not together anymore, Melissa's abroad, and I have a 6-year situationship with Edward. 6 years? Situationship? What? Like, bro, honestly, I am impressed because I didn't know love squares in real life actually existed. I was out here fighting for my life, trying to get into a love line. But yeah, this is one of the most messy friend groups on earth. I'm surprised Edward and James haven't locked lips yet. I mean, if the options ever run dry, they know who to go for next. And also to this author, I want you to know, if you get the chance, you need to write a Wattpad book. This could turn into a whole Netflix show when you think about it. So don't be afraid, give us more gossip. Just trust me on this, dude. You're gonna be famous. All of these stories were an adventure, but we actually have one more story. I know our theme was relationship drama, but I think this is going to be a nice, wholesome palate cleanser to make sure you guys don't lose your hope on love. I don't know if this fits here, it might be too positive, but it is my favorite real love story. My husband's parents met in the most silly rom-com/Hallmark movie way ever. His dad, let's call him Kevin, was trying to call his aunt and ask her a question. When the phone was answered, he asked, "Hey, is Aunt Nina there?" And the young lady on the other end of the phone answered, No Nina here, just Kelsey." Not discouraged, he then said, "Oh well, do you know when she'll be back?" "Oh no, there isn't anyone else here, I live alone." Confused, he repeated the number. She laughed and told him he had dialed the last 4 digits backwards. Embarrassed for just a second, he introduced himself, and they started talking for a bit before he had to let her go to call the correct person. "Do you mind if I call you back again sometime?" She said, "No, of course not. Call me back whenever." He called his aunt, got the answer he needed, then immediately called her back, and they talked all night long. Both Kevin and Kelsey had been married before, both had a girl and a boy from their previous relationships, and they both got to know each other quickly. Within 6 months, he worked with her best friend to go to the town square of the local little town they lived in, went on a date, had her friend come out of a bush with a guitar, and played her a song before asking her to marry him. Then soon, they got married and had their individual 3rd/5th kid in total, aka my husband. It does really get sad at the end though. She was a 9-year cancer survivor at that point as well, and made it another 10 years of happiness and bliss before I came back. Every time I hear it, I sob, and I have never heard a romantic story to match its like. And my husband and I are high school sweethearts. Though his grandparents were a blind date, and she was miserable when she saw he was short, red-faced, and red-headed. So honestly, 3 generations of cuteness. This story was just so wholesome and the perfect thing to end with. And you know what? I know she's in a great place now. But this story just really made me think, because if he hadn't dialed those last 4 numbers backwards in a specific way, he would have never even met Kelsey, and the author's husband wouldn't have even existed. Like, when you think about it, the butterfly effect is so crazy. So if I were to take anything from that last story at least, always be sure to shoot your shot, dude. Love will find you no matter what. So yeah, all those stories were an emotional roller coaster. I was invested in all of them. Trust me, I wish I could read all of your guys' stories that you submitted, because they were all insane. I just want to say thank you so much to everyone who wrote a story in. I genuinely thought I'd get 2 or 3, and I would have still been happy with that. So I am really happy that you guys took the time to write it out and let me animate your insane stories. Also, I was originally about to make this into a series, but if you guys liked it and do want your stories to be shared, let me know if you want more of these. So yeah, I hope you subscribe and keep an eye out for my YouTube community posts or follow me on my Instagram, cause that way you can keep up with what I'm gonna do next and I might ask you guys for your stories next. So that's it for today. Bye bye!